is the LYTE Gaming Cortex Build Kit. Not really that light, but oh my god, oh shit. So we're gonna be taking a look at the LYTE Gaming Cortex Build Kit. It is a build kit. We have not done anything like this on the channel before, and we're gonna test performance as well. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the company. Let's get into it. Oh my god, I'm so unfit. First and heaviest box is the Neo Qube, what does that say? Metallic gear powered by Phanteks. So it must be a Phanteks case or something, I guess. It's quite heavy though, so I assume that all the parts are in there. It is meant to be a build kit, so I don't know whether it's assembled already or like when they say build kit, I assume we're getting all the parts and we're building it ourselves. So we'll see what's inside. Okay, what is this? Feels like fans. Is that a spider web? Has that been sitting there for that long? This case reminds me of Lian Li 011 from First Looks. So it looks like all the parts are on the inside. This has the exact same mounting for the glass and the top as the 011. It is a build kit, there we go. So we've got the motherboard, power supply, RAM. Oh, the fans are in that bag. Okay, this one comes up as well. Some more fans, and this is the case. You recording? This is not take two at all. G'day guys, this is definitely not take two. We have something for prime gamers. The Prime B550M AAC motherboard, definitely not opened already. Let's get it unboxed. Wow, we have the dreaded I.O. shield. Wait, we don't want to lose that. Let's keep that because we need to remember to install that first. We have not done this in quite a while, so it'd probably be one thing that I need to keep in mind and just do straight away. We've got our Wi-Fi adapter. Ooh, Teamgroup, we'll get that unboxed in a second. That's our NVMe drive. We also have the AMD Ryzen 7 5700G CPU, and I guess that's the Windows USB, so we'll get that unboxed very soon. But this is the bread and butter, and I definitely did not rip the bag before. Our Asus motherboard. Now you can do your zoomies. Out of focus. Quick, focus it.
Yeah.
Oh, that is prime content right there. You get it because it's like the prime motherboard. That's what like Asus Prime. All right, let's get the AMD Ryzen 7 5700G unboxed. This is, ooh, we've also got a USB. This is a 8-core, 16-thread CPU. Ooh, should go really nice in this system. I would say this is more like a mid-tier build that we're going for today. So, there it is.
Wait, terrifying.
Haven't seen a beautiful face like that before, have ya? All right, time to install our AMD CPU. As you can see, there is a little gold triangle on the corner here, and there is a triangle on the socket. So if we go down to the socket, all we have to do is push the latch out, push it up, then we can grab our CPU, line up the gold triangle with the triangle on the socket, and it should just fall into place. Do as I say, not as I do. But it should fall into place. I like to give it a little wiggle just to make sure that it's in the socket. Then we can pull the latch down like so. It's all installed. So we have the Teamgroup MP33 Pro NVMe SSD. It is a Gen 3 SSD, and we're just gonna tear it apart, but we will be using this to load our Windows on. It is 512 gigs. I was gonna try and unbox it like, you know, keeping that intact, but it wasn't working. How do I get this thing out? There we go. I'm sure, hang on, if I start in and then we go out, at some point it would be focused.
Perfect.
You ready?
Yeah.
Are we recording now?
Yes.
So, we have our NVMe drive and we're going to install it in our slot. The standoff is not installed yet. That you can find in the motherboard box. To install that NVMe, simply put it in at an angle, about a 45-degree angle, and it'll hold itself up like that. Now you can push it down to the standoff and then start screwing it in. We have ourselves some RAM. Let's get this unboxed. That's fun. Okay. 32 gigs. So two 16GB sticks. Our RGB memory series. What is that? Oloy? I haven't heard of the brand, but I'll do a bit of research into it, but it is RGB RAM and we have 32 gigs of it. So it should work really nice with this system, especially being mid-tier and with the latest games. Wait, I need to unbox the box as well. We just did the bubble wrap. Let's actually get the RAM open. See what it looks like. There we go. 1, 2. So a funny thing about this RAM here, Amelia was saying that she reckons that there was 2 guys sitting in a garage one day and they're like, you know what? How about we make a RAM company? Let's just YOLO it. And so they decided that their brand name would be how do you say that? Oli? But like backwards it's spelled YOLO. So let's YOLO this into the motherboard. So we're gonna install them in slots A2 and B2 for best performance because we only have 2 sticks. And when installing RAM, I know it's a bit frightening for new PC builders, but you have to put a tiny bit of force into it to actually push it into the motherboard. When it clicks and these notches close by themselves, that usually indicates it is installed correctly. This thing is every PC builder's worst nightmare. I'm gonna install it right now before I forget. Oh my God. I haven't had to install one of these for quite a while. They're normally built into the motherboards now. There we go. Actually, I was just thinking, the CPU cooler is only a 120mm cooler, so I wonder where we should stick that on the case. Because you can fit a 360 there, 360 there. You can install 360 there, so that's 3 fans in each position. So if we install it in one spot, that means there's gonna be a cooler and maybe 2 fans beside it if it fits. I have no idea what's inside there. I have no idea what's inside this box. So let's check it out. That was pretty cool. Did you see that? Like reflected off there, came back like a boomerang. Let's behave ourselves, Amelia. Okay, so we've got more of this. Oh, it's a liquid cooler. So this is a 120 CPU liquid cooler. That should be enough for our 5700G. I would definitely want to upgrade this if it was like a higher end CPU, but the 5700G being that sort of mid tier, this will be perfect. There is not pre-applied thermal paste, so we will have to apply that ourselves. This is all the mounting brackets, and it does come with some thermal paste as well. So, you know, we have everything here that we need, which is fantastic. Fantastic.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Okay, so I've decided I'll install the 120mm cooler up in the top slot. That way the radiator is higher than the pump, and I'm going to have to install these fans actually pulling air in because we only received 7 fans in total, and the picture actually shows 9 fans, I think it was. So I don't know what's going on there, but I guess that's the one negative I've found so far about this build kit. I don't know if it was a mistake or that's what it comes with. Now, because we've only got 7, it's not gonna look as good because if we do 3 up the top, 3 down the side, we've only got 1 left for the bottom, which means I need to flip these so I have some sort of intake. So we'll go ahead and get this installed.
What's wrong?
This was meant to go on before the motherboard gets installed because there's not a big enough gap at the back of the case. So we're gonna have to take the motherboard out and install this first. and then we can install the liquid cooler. All right, the backplate's on. Let's get the CPU cooler installed. So my thoughts are, I actually noticed they did this in their pictures as well. If we can go over the top of the RAM and install the CPU this way, I'm thinking we could make that work. If I get the opposite direction, then we should be all good. All right, the other two should be fairly easy. Fairly easy, he said. Of course I'm recording. I've only missed it once. I'm a fan of these ones. You wanna know why? Because we have some fans inside. Let's get them unboxed.
Oh my god.
I hope there was a spare. So we have an RGB controller for the fans. We've also got another fan, and I'm a fan of it. They've got their branding on there. That's pretty cool. An RGB controller as well. And then we've got a second bag. Maybe we won't rip that one open. We could just simply open it like that. I think that's wise, right, Amelia? So we've got 6 fans in total, maybe 5. Okay, guys, I'm not even kidding when I say this. Not only are we 2 fans short for the build, I had looked everywhere, looked through every single box, and the only fan screws I have are right there. We do not even have enough fan screws for every single fan, let alone the 2 missing fans. So I'm gonna have to try and resort to only using 2 screws per fan, and hopefully that gets the job done. I'll try and get a response from the company and see what they say and leave that in the pinned comment. But for now, let's get these fans installed. Oh, look at that. There's different size fan screws. That one is smaller than that one. Here's the thing, right? I don't know if this build is like a media sample. You know how some companies have media samples and it's not always in proper packaging? Oh no, that could be why it's missing something. Maybe it's done the rounds, because some of the parts I can tell have been used as well. Some of them are not brand new. So that could be it as well. But we'll wait and see what they come back with. So you want either 3 up the top, 1 down the bottom, or 2 up the top, 2 down the bottom.
3 up the top.
I think 3 up the top as well, because it'll look a bit weird with a gap there. Well, I think considering the GPU will be in the left position, the only spot left to put it is on the right. We'll get a bit of lighting there, and the GPU lighting will hopefully light up that left side. And we only have 2 screws left, so it kind of worked out. Gigabyte, GeForce RTX 3070, WindForce 3x cooling system, RGB Fusion 2.0, protection metal backplate. Anyway, let's get it unboxed. RTX 3070 system. This is gonna be a really nice 1440p gaming PC, I would say. 3-fan design, nice cooling, RTX 3070. So I was looking at the promo images on their website, and apparently you can actually vertically mount the GPU, but I couldn't find any vertical mounts with the build, so I don't know if it's like an upgrade, and there was no riser cable either. So we are stuck horizontally mounting the GPU, which is fine, but you know, I was kind of after the look that the promo images were giving off, because that's how I wanted to test it out for its temperatures, you know, with the fans being against the glass and everything. But this seems to be the only way that we can do it. Now, if I can get this screw in, that would be good. Huh. I'll be right back. Okay guys, guess what's in here? Comment below. I have a pretty good idea because I can feel how heavy it is, the shape and the size. Let me know down below. Ugh. That really did not go far at all. All right, here we have a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda hard drive. And that's really good because I was worried about the 512 gigabyte NVMe with how big file sizes are for games and that these days. That was not gonna be enough storage for this system, but we have the Seagate Barracuda 2 terabyte hard drive. So it looks like the hard drives actually get installed in here. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm gonna have to find the clips first. Okay, so it's not clips I was after, it's actually these longer screws where the threading doesn't go all the way, and these rubber grommets help to prevent vibration. Now I just need to somehow line it up while not being able to see. Okay, so before we install the hard drive, I think it's probably a wiser decision to put the power supply in first, just so this isn't in the way and we have more room. Don't you think that's a pretty good idea? The Gamdias Kratos Gold P1A 750 watt addressable RGB power supply. So it must have like an RGB fan or, oh it does, okay. Maybe I just need to look at the front. All right, let's get this unboxed. Wait.
I'm sure that will work.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Did I get it all the way through? It's probably better than the scissors. All right, bunch of screws, power. Oh, it's a US plug. That's right, we've got plenty of spares. So, it's not a modular power supply, but it is a good quality power supply, so that's what matters. After all of the cables are gonna be hidden at the back anyway. I kinda wanna put sleeved cables in though. It won't come with sleeved cables, but I kinda just wanna do it for the finish. Look at that, there we go. It's starting to really pelt down outside, but that's not gonna stop us from getting this build done. This is our Gamdias power supply, 750 watts being installed. I think I can get all the screws in one go. I'm probably like blocking all the light for you. Is my head nice and shiny? Yes. The last piece of the puzzle before we can start installing Windows and get our games installed to test this system out. I cannot wait. This is actually really cool. You can fit 2 hard drives in the cages, and then of course you have the NVMe storage on the motherboard. But because we have that 2 terabyte hard drive, we're gonna be able to install a couple of games, which is fantastic because games are taking up too much space. Okay guys, so I was in the middle of cable management and I just realized that the CPU cooler fan actually has a black frame and all of these black sort of designs here, and it's completely different to this white fan here. So I think what I'll do is I'll swap this fan up to here and bring the black fan down to there. I think that'll be a little more uniform. Ideally, if we had 9 of these white fans all across there at the bottom as well, that would be the best look of all. So yeah, let's get this one uninstalled. We'll put it down the bottom. All right guys, that looks so much better. That's more uniform. It is a shame that this fan is different, but we're gonna visit their website and see if it's actually an upgrade that gives you the 3 extra fans, and they only intended for us to have 6 of the same, and then the 1 which is meant to be on the all-in-one cooler, but you know, that obviously wouldn't really fit the whole aesthetic that we're going with, right? So yeah, let's get this thing all cable managed, and then we'll see what it looks like and we'll start testing it. So let's dive into the LYTE Gaming website and company a little more before we test the PC's performance. LYTE Gaming started as a small company and they have grown to over 30 plus employees, shipping thousands of computers per month, and they are PCs built for gamers by gamers. They are extremely transparent about how much they charge. They actually list the prices of individual components so it's easier for everyone to understand. They even state that for some pre-builds there is a $99 or $100 build fee, but customers usually get a discount on top of that. So let's actually have a closer look at what they have to offer. You can actually build yourself a custom PC if you have that type of knowledge by selecting through the range of parts they have to offer. If you are not confident in building the PC yourself, then they have a range of pre-built PCs on offer with plenty of upgrade options and prices laid out for you to show full transparency. What we actually have is a build kit. If you know how to build a PC, or if you struggle with hardware compatibility and you want to give PC building a try for yourself, this might be the option for you. You can even see what the expected FPS will be for your system, and there are loads of build kits to choose from. For you keyboard fans out there, you can also browse through their pre-configured range of custom keyboards, or even build your own for your personal liking. Geez, LYTE Gaming has certainly come a long way in just 2 years. So let's compare their pricing with what I can put together on Amazon. I've done my my best to match as best as possible with what is available. Now, looking at both lists, I would say that the CPU and GPU are a little pricey. The 512GB NVMe is also a bit higher than I would expect, but everything else is very reasonable. Also note that I don't have the $35 Windows fee on the Amazon list. Let's also keep in mind that LYTE Gaming are not charging you for the 9 fans they are providing for the system. These are ARGB fans, and this can cost anywhere upwards of $100 to $200. Now let's actually break this down. LYTE Gaming have already tested these configurations to ensure everything is compatible and you know the expected performance. If you cannot get free shipping on Amazon, then each part will incur shipping fees, whereas everything ships together from LYTE Gaming. LYTE Gaming also provides build guides to make the user build experience a lot easier, as well as a customer support team. I would say that for the extra money that they are charging for some of the parts, all of the services above make it worthwhile to that specific customer. Now let's go ahead and test out the build performance. LYTE Gaming has a variety of games they have tested, so I chose 3 to compare against their numbers. We loaded up Fortnite 1080p low settings. We spent some time running through the field, checking out the scenery and running into buildings. We observed around 200 to 290 FPS with what I would say an average of 250 FPS. This aligns with the 210 to 290 FPS stated by LYTE Gaming. High settings, again, we visited various parts of the map and observed around 110 to 160 FPS, with the average being around 140 FPS. Again, it really depends what you're observing on the map. FPS can fluctuate a lot. LYTE Gaming state that you should expect 170 to 240 FPS, so we have quite the difference there. Grand Theft Auto 5 does not have a low preset, but the lowest is called normal. Again, certain parts of the map would fluctuate, but we observed 115 to 130 FPS, with 118 FPS being the average, compared with LYTE Gaming's 120 to 150 FPS. Not too far from our results. High preset, we actually observed 100 to 125 FPS in the same area, compared with LYTE Gaming's 100 to 130 FPS, which is fairly spot on with our results. PUBG Low preset, we observed big fluctuations in FPS depending on the location on the map. We achieved 130 to 170 FPS, but did notice if we look up in the distance, we would see abnormal FPS spikes because there is not a lot happening on screen. So I wanted to ignore this for our testing. Our results are spot on with LYTE Gaming's results. High preset, we achieved around 115 to 160 FPS, ignoring the anomaly FPS spikes while looking into the distance. This is fairly spot on with LYTE Gaming's 110 to 150 FPS, so I have full confidence in the numbers they provide on their website. I decided to stress test the GPU to see how it handles heat. I know my results will probably be worse than what you guys would purchase because I'm missing 2 fans blowing cool air straight into the GPU. You guys would have 9 fans in total. With that being said, we achieved some fantastic results, achieving 66 degrees flatline after 45 minutes of testing. I was also curious how the 120mm all-in-one cooler would handle the CPU. After 15 minutes of Cinebench R23, we flatlined at 74 degrees Celsius. This is actually really good because the games will never stress the CPU as hard as this test does. So I'd actually expect the temperatures in the high 60s while gaming. Okay, before the final thoughts, there's a few questions I still have for LYTE Gaming, and I'll provide the answers in the pinned comment on this video when I receive them. Number 1, I received an Asus Prime B550M motherboard. There is 2 other options that are stated on the website that we would be receiving. There's a Gigabyte one, and then there is an MSI one in the list. So what are people receiving? Number 2, there is 3 different RAM options. The promo image has G.Skill Trident Z RGB RAM. The list has something different, and I received something completely different to both of those. So again, what are people receiving? Number 3, I received 7 fans, one of them being the CPU cooler fan. The build has 9 on the website, so I would also just like a bit of clarification if users will be receiving all 9 fans or 7 like I am. Hopefully we get those answers for you guys. Check out the pinned comments, fingers crossed. Overall, I'd have to say I'm very excited to see where LYTE Gaming is heading. They've achieved so much in such a short period of time. Apart from our media sample mishaps, I'd have to say that I do not have much negative to say about LYTE Gaming. They are very transparent with listing out their costs, and they are priced competitively and have lots of options depending on your PC building experience. As always, I recommend you to do your own research, so I'll leave a link in the video description if you'd like to check them out further.